Yeah, this I'm in Mountain View, California, and this is at the heart of the Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley has a lot of companies, that really, that gives the technology that we use almost every day, directly or indirectly. This is a technological hotbed. Seeing some of the companies in Silicon Valley, including Google today, I could really feel, why this is such a big ecosystem of everything, from Stanford universities and many other universities to, the tech companies, the venture capital investors. The whole ecosystem is there, just like in Los Angeles, Hollywood, you have the whole ecosystem for making films, right? Right from the ideation to the final film, right? You have studios, you have everything. And then today I'm really happy because after decades of, after using Google products, finally I was able to visit this iconic location of Google. We use Google every day. I mean, for search, for everything. I mean, search, Chrome browser, Android system. Because I was working in China before, and and at that time, before we were setting up an Android delivery center in China. So, and also I also developed an Android app for my content management. So that's the reason I'm really fascinated with Google, and the many ways that Google impacts us directly, indirectly. YouTube. Recently, I started a YouTube channel as well, and then. It really impacts. I mean, every day that probably, if one can say, it will not be a false that, without Google, we can't survive. So that's really iconic, to be seeing. I was seeing the Waymo self-driving cars, and then they have the Nest, home IoT system kind of. It's impacting us in many ways. And, this is the place where, all these, this is the headquarters for those places where, and this is the iconic, a canopy building where, of course, all these tech spots have these iconic buildings where they are all water positive, minimal damage to environment or minimal impact to environment kind of. This is iconic, the canopy building. Yeah, that's kind of the headquarters for Google, and the area around has a lot of, offices of Google. So this is iconic Google headquarters. The Google Experience Center in California, in Mountain View, California. And this is like, the Google, it has 4 different components: the Google Store, the Google, the Huddle, and the pop-up store. And then there is a cafe where I also had a cafe coffee because I was in the cafe. And then we see, this is the Harvest, the kind of the canopy building with, intelligent building with water positivity and, all the great environmental features of, positive to the environment or minimal impact to the environment. And it was spectacular seeing this, Google, because Google impacts our life in many ways. Like every day we use it for search, for the Chrome browser, Android operating system. If you are using a mobile phone, generally it's either Android or, Apple iOS, right? Most of the phones. So if you're using a mobile phone, it is Android. And also back when I was working in China before, many years before, we set up an Android delivery center for Android apps in China. So yeah, I also developed an Android app for my own, content management. And so Google is iconic. Then the Nest IoT devices, and then we have the Waymo self-driving cars I was seeing in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and other places. So Google impacts our life in a wide variety of ways, and this is the iconic hardware canopy building. And these are all, the area around also has a lot of Google buildings. This area in Mountain View, California, it's part of the larger Silicon Valley ecosystem where you have the whole ecosystem from investors to universities to ideators to everything. They all come together and create the great technology companies that impact our everyday lives. I'm at the iconic Google Experience Center in Mountain View, California. This is a part of the Silicon Valley, which you have all the iconic companies. And this is the Google store. There you can visit the Huddle store and, the cafe and, small pop-up store. So it's the place is really, this is an iconic building, water positive building and all those stuff, right? The canopy, the famous canopy building. So it's really, we use Google products, Google for search, YouTube, Chrome browser, and many other Google products that we use in our everyday lives. And for me, it was particularly iconic because I've been thinking to come here for many years. So it's finally fulfilled. So this is an iconic Google office, and this area has many other Google offices as well. I'm at the Google Visitor Experience Center. There are a lot of things like Huddle, and there's a cafeteria also. Having some lemonade kind of drink, and this is exciting because for years, decades, I've been using Google's products, Google, YouTube, and all the other products, right? And then visiting this Google Experience Center is a real at the center of the Silicon Valley. Today, I visited many Silicon Valley companies, and I was amazed actually, the kind of calm environment and the environment that it's just right for developers and all the intelligent and brilliant and smart people that come out to work here. I also visited the Stanford University, and now I'm visiting this Google Experience Center. So it's truly a really remarkable experience. Yeah, we are taking a tour of the walking tour of the Google campus, and yeah, this we see the night time the buses are going back because it's the work closing time, and the whole yeah, there are a lot of sculptures here and so on, and because these tech campuses are designed by a lot of architects and ideation people who are bringing a lot of new ideas and so on, and they are designed in a way to appeal and attract the work force, so in many of these campuses you have either discounted food at discounted rates or totally free food, and they say we've been reading and seeing in many places that Google has this iconic campuses where you can probably things are at your reach, and a lot of stuff, the gyms, the to take care of your well-being and so on, and this is the iconic Google's sorry Google's iconic canopy building that you can almost see it in full view. If you get a bit closer to this, then yeah, it shows like this. Then yeah, and this is some sort of kind of the sculpture. So yeah, this is a gradient canopy. It's called the 2000 North Shoreline Boulevard. This is the iconic spot of Google's kind of a headquarters, and there are in this area there are a lot of that are Google, that are the workplace of Google. So this is really an iconic building that way when you really look at it, and as I make a tour of this iconic building, we see it from many angles, and then there is this, there is this nice experience center where they have Google Huddle, Google the store selling Google products like the Google Pixel phones and so many other small things that after coming to here I also saw that there are Google earphones and so on. There are a lot of Google things, right? Google products that they were selling, and that's where I saw, and then there is a pop-up store as well. There is a Huddle, and then there is a cave, of course, where because I came into a cave, I drank coffee as well, so as a customary thing. And then yeah, this is the Google, the building from The Google Canopy, yeah, the Canopy, iconic Canopy building, which is the headquarters of Google. And yeah, because these are meant to for thousands of people to really work, and these surfaces are really very iconic and super nice, actually, in a sense that they create those environment for developers. They do a lot of studies on on such kind of buildings. They are certified by in like LEED and other certifications. Like they use many recyclable and kind of materials. So every aspect of design of these buildings, these iconic buildings, they go a long way in ensuring environmental minimal impact to environmental, or else if not minimal, sometimes they, as they say, water positive to the environment. And they do a lot of these innovative things that can be replicated across the globe, across the world, in future buildings and so on. So yeah, these are like experimental spots or learning spots for a company like Google that impacts our life in many ways. If you look at we use Chrome browser every day. Chrome browser, I believe, has about 60 close to 65% market share or something. So that's a huge thing. Then Google for search, Google for anything that we simply don't know, we just type in on Google, and then we look for that. And then Google impacts our life in many ways that way. And the Chrome, the Android, operating system that 95% of the mobiles probably run on an Android mobile system for mobiles. And because the only other major mobile operating system is Apple ecosystem. I mean the iOS, but other than that, everything else is Android, mostly Android. Yeah, there are very few mobile systems. It occupies a huge lion's market share. And all the mobiles that we use made by companies within China, Korea, Japan, or America, or anywhere else, generally use, apart from Apple, of course. Apple has its own iOS and use the Android kind of mobile system. So this is really, really iconic that way, right? So we cannot say that Google impacts. If you are using an Android phone, we can say that Google is in our lives, or Chrome browser, or Google for search, or so. All these are like started by these two iconic people, Sergey, Brin, and so, and then in 1998, and then how they have started, and Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and then how they started, and all the iconic stories surrounding Google, right? Gradient canopy, virtual line Google. Start of Google, and from search, and how they're ranking algorithms and so on. And so yeah, from that stage we come to today. YouTube impact has an major impact. People are not even looking to news channels sometimes for YouTube. They are like simply this is the iconic Google bike that people in Google used to go around the campus. The iconic Google bike. And then the impact of Google in our everyday lives, it's parked here. Probably I think people can use it to go around the campus or something. And then we also see this, this experience center. This is a pamphlet for the experience center. Tap into your curiosity, where I found those. I visited the Huddle, I visited the cafe and had coffee, and then so as a customary practice. And then I visited the store and the pop-up store and the Google store. And then I also found these sculptures that were part of discover the sculptures and androids. So this is Google plays such an important part. And then I was seeing the Waymo cars, self-driving cars in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, and other places. So they were just driving like any normal, and they will be mainstream soon. Obviously, self-driving cars will become electric self-driving cars with minimal impact to environment, right? People still argue about the source of electricity. They say you can't call 100% electric unless the source of electricity itself is totally fossil free. That's of course one thing, but other than that, the impact of Google, such a huge impact in our lives. And this is the iconic canopy. So and yeah, it runs with totally solar and probably wind power, if I was reading in its brochure somewhere. So it's totally that way. It's what do you call the totally fossil free and helpful to the environment kind of. And this is iconic Google Plex from the distance and from the street. Amphitheater Parkway, yeah, we remember this address. Parkway. And then how you doing? How's your day? So this is we did almost a total round turnaround of the whole campus in a way. And yeah, so iconic is the company that so and this is a part of this part of the world's ecosystem, the Silicon Valley ecosystem, in which we have these iconic companies. Morning I was visiting many Silicon Valley kind of companies, and these are low lying, they are not major. Generally speaking, they are like a few floors and very calm environments and very very nice. I don't know how to put it. Very nice environments, and they are like yeah, they're a very conductive environment, in short, for these engineers, developers, and these technical people. And it's truly iconic to be seeing Google after many decades of using these products, right? And yeah, this is the gradient canopy, and then there is this just the Google Store, Cave, Huddle, pop-up shop. The four things in the Google experience. So this is really nice. I mean, the experience center, and they're allowing to use have a peek into Google's through the experience center. So initiative, right? You get to really just have a glimpse at what Google is from an outsider's perspective. It's a kiosk for the Google Visitor experience, and then this is the Google Store. And inside the cafe, so if you go inside, you can say hello to Google Gemini and ask some questions and so on, the AI related, the raw stuff. And then this is the Google Store, and then this is Google Cafe. Not all. Only the group and workspace and the group and workspace. Because the other are already done. Google Cafe, and then yeah, we had a peek inside the Google Cafe. So this is a Google. Then this is the huddle. This is the pop-up shop. And then we come back to outside to the building, and then yeah, we see this the sit out area for the cafe and outside patio. Yeah, in the afternoon it will be very nice when it's sunny outside, right? And then cafe. So in order, we already see the four things that can be experienced as a Google experience. Is the first one is the Google. It's here. The second one is the cafe. It's here. And then The third one is the hurdle, and inside on this inside the hurdle was the pop-up store. So we have the four activities that are permissible at the Google Experience Center. And then yeah, this is the hurdle, and then inside is the pop-up store. So we have these four activities that are permissible activities inside Google Experience Center. And then just like we could also visit this and this is the brochure for this Google Experience Center. And I'm just having a walk around the Google building. So that's how it is. Yeah, you can call it the whole tour of Google in a way. But the other buildings and offices in this part are all of Google's, mostly in this part of Mountain View. So because they have expanded so quickly in the past 2-3 decades, right? Yeah, they started out officially in 1998. Then yeah, because of the huge expansion and more than 180,000, I believe, as of approximate count as of today, employee count. So to accommodate those people, those many people of people are here. So they are like they're like, yeah, in this area. So yeah, I'm almost did a complete roundabout of the Google this canopy. Yeah, this Google canopy building. And yeah, we also discovered the structure, the statues, or whatever you call them. Last time and tap into your curiosity. So yeah, these are built on ecology, sustainability, and then what's happening. And you can so they're reoking the valley, bird's eye view, so pollination station. Then the sustainability they're talking about, sustainable then rainy day harvest, and dragon scale. Yeah, they were saying this dragon scale is this kind of top. They have a this renewable energy kind of system, right, over the canopy. So probably yeah, that's what it's called, dragon scale. I was reading in their brochure, detailed brochure somewhere. So yeah, this is how they're becoming ecologically sustainable, and this can be kind of replicated around and it's a beautiful building. Yeah, we are really looking at it. Morning time it looks so, but night time it's really spectacular with this kind of garden around it, and the garden is so nice, and the sculptures are shining in the garden as well, right? So walking through the garden is also very nice, because it's winter, it's getting dark early. So around 4:35 it looks like dark. So this is another sculpture, grizzly bear from California, most likely. Yeah. And then yeah, these two, in this they have asked many questions, like and yeah, this sculpture, I don't know what it is exactly. It is looking like a flower, or I don't know what it is, but there are many questions on this. So probably you can rotate this if I'm right. Yeah, questions and answers. Yeah, the answers on the other side. No. So yeah, then basically we had done a round tour of the building, of the canopy, and then we had just come back to the same spot we almost started. So and also had the Google experience. So yeah, we just came to the same place we started. The Google. The Google Canopy 2000 North Shoreline Boulevard. Yeah, we just came to the same place we started. So it is a good experience. Google building itself, right? And then the experience center that has these four activities, and